Hi, this video is about the RYR Elite Local Tribe product. This is a review of that product, along with I'm going to give you a look on the inside to see what it's like and give you my thoughts on what I like about it and what I think, where it can be valuable to you in your business. So this is an SEO focused product. So, that should be something that you're, aware of right out of the gate. If SEO is not something you're interested in, then the product is probably not for you. But if SEO is a part of your business, or you want it to be a part of your business, then this is a great product that is very unique. And I'm going to go into more details about that. So first of all, why should you listen to them? So I'm just going to really briefly touch on why you should listen to them and what kind of their backgrounds are. Now, there is a Cubicle Liberation podcast. I believe it's episode 21. I'll put a link to it in the description, where you can get a lot more background on their stories, well beyond what I'm going to talk about here. But I'm just going to go through some really quick highlights on who they are and really why you should listen to them. Because there's a lot of people out there who are claiming to be awesome, and they're not, or they don't really have the experiences that they claim. So and then also sometimes maybe they have the experiences, but they don't really share the things that really matter. So let's talk about Marie. I should have put a picture up over here before, but she's a degree in business management. And then I think she ran a family business for a little bit. Then she created an app development company, and then she moved into SEO. I want to say the late aughts, so 2008, 2010 range-ish. And she found out she really loved SEO, which is why I have the less than 3 heart. And then she ended up running a local SEO agency, and which I believe she's running currently and for the last 10-ish years. And so this is what she does. This is what she does for clients. And so we kind of can check the box for, like, she's actually doing what she says she's doing. She actually has experiences, and not just a little bit. She hasn't just works on like 1 or 2 websites. She's worked on a lot. And it goes further than that. I'm going to talk about that in a second. So Moon, she has a computer science degree, and then she had a miserable customer service job. She was a school programmer for a little bit and started learning SEO on the side. I believe she quit that job and then eventually got an SEO job and then quit that job. And has spent a lot of time working on her brain, which we all should do. And I talk a lot about that in the Cubicle Liberation podcast. That's something that a lot of people, I think, who can't get past their egos aren't willing to admit. And so it's part of the kind of the charm of Marie and Moon. They're very real. And she talks a lot about time freedom, and talking about working on your brain. There's kind of an implication in our society that that's like bad. It means you're crazy. When, in my opinion, we all have brains, and none of them are perfect, and so we all could use some time and energy, a significant amount of time and energy working on it. So props to her for that. So my impressions, I've kind of given them a little bit here, is that they practice what they preach. So they actually talk about what they do. They don't just pull stuff out of their ass. I think they're badasses in a lot of different ways, and they're different. So they're kind of a yin and yang type thing, and I think they play off each other really well, and they kind of have their own roles that they play. This is a huge thing for me that not a lot of people do. So they do a lot of testing, and I asked Maria about this, and they have she said they have hundreds of test sites that they just keep there ready to test and play with. This is super important because there's so many weird circumstances that can happen in SEO that if you just have a couple sites and you rank them and you think that now you understand SEO and that it's going to apply to a much wider range of circumstances, then I think that's a bad way of looking at it. And so it's a lot of work to run a lot of tests, and so I have respect for anybody who runs a lot of tests. I think they're real. I don't think that they're not fronting like you don't see Marie or Moon in like a Lamborghini driving around pretending that they rented it or something. And they're just real. They talk about what they know as best they can. And I think that, if they don't know something, they are willing to own up to it, which a lot of people are not. Another thing that is not as common in our industry is they're consistently showing up. So they're there. They're there for their group members very reliably. I can't imagine, like, in terms of when I send them a message or when somebody else sends them a message, as far as I understand it, this has been not just my experience, and contact them and ask them about things, they get back really quickly, quicker than I do. So, and they're just there all the time. They're just working a lot and there for their customers. And I think they really do care. I think they really care about the success of people that listen to them in general, but also specifically, definitely for their customers, which again, I respect, which is important to me, that if I recommend something that they actually are going to be there. So that's the showing up, that they actually have something valuable, and at least somewhat unique, and they have that, and that they actually care about the results of their customers, and they have that as well. So far they've kind of checked those boxes. So what do you get on the inside? There's kind of 5 major pieces, although there's kind of sub pieces within these. I'm going to show them to you right now. So you have the local SEO case study. I've blocked out some of the kind of identifying information here, and this is like what it looks like. Each one of these is a lesson, and the introduction, keyword research. Let me actually take a step back. This is another thing that is not common. Showing some case studies is not something that most people will do. First of all, they're worried about them getting spammed, so they're fearful. But also, it requires lots of testing, so you have exercise. But then I think that it kind of emulates a lot of the experience of learning SEO, because I like to compare learning SEO to like learning how to shoot a basketball. So I'm a big Dirk Nowitzki fan of the Mavs, or Luka Doncic now. Dirk was a great shooter, or is a great shooter, and I can't just have him write an essay on how to shoot the basketball really well, and then after I read that essay, I can shoot the basketball really, really well. I think SEO is similar in that you kind of have to have the experience. You have to get the reps. So same thing with basketball. You have to shoot a basketball like 10,000 times before you can really shoot, potentially. And same thing with SEO. And what these case studies do is they kind of emulate the reps to a significant degree. It's not the same, but it's a significant step in the right direction, because a lot of times you can get all these ideas about this is how you should do things, but then there's like little details that seem obvious to the person who's teaching them, or to other people. Most people, to you, maybe they're a roadblock. I'm speaking for myself, and you're not really sure if you're doing that right, or there's just a lot of little decisions in SEO. Anyway, so we got the local SEO case study, introduction, keyword research, basic on-page SEO, content. I haven't been putting enough focus on my content for a very long time. The plugins that they use, they go into a silo example. So there's there's an upsell for like a whole silo thing, but in the case studies you get a taste of that. But there's some really specific, awesome stuff in the silos module. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But they'll give you some silo stuff here. Time factor, some backlinks deep dive. So I'm not going to go over each individual lesson, but I'm just going to give you kind of like a little peek on the inside here. The second case study, another silo, some case study information, picking a domain, keyword mapping, or just like keyword research and planning. The meta stuff, the content. This is a whole stuff on content, lots of stuff on content. Some rankings updates, and also some silos and backlink stuff. So again, the case study stuff I think is really, really valuable. Okay, how to unstick a site. This is this is even more unique. I've never seen anyone talk about unsticking sites, and I think that this is something that I kind of ignored for a very long time, and a lot of people in SEO did. And their answer was to kind of just keep slamming backlinks at things. And sometimes that is the answer, but a lot of times it's not. A lot of times more backlinks is just going to leave you right where you're at. And there's some fundamental issues with where you're at, with what your situation is and how Google looks at you, that you need to fix. And that sometimes they can be, it's uncomfortable to kind of try new things and to kind of go through a really disciplined checklist. it can make a huge difference. It can unstick something pretty quickly. So there's kind of over optimization, under optimization. And then a big part of unsticking is what they call keyword cannibalization, which again is completely unique to them, that they have made up, that not made up in terms of like just like pulled out of their ass, but made up in terms of they came up with the idea, as far as I understand it. And my understanding of it is limited. This is probably the area that I need to go through. I've actually gone through this content. I need to go through it again and try to work through it. I think I might get it, but I also think there's a chance that I don't fully understand the conditions for keyword cannibalization. And this is basically where you have Google isn't sure which page to rank for multiple keywords, and so they kind of spread the credit between the two, instead of giving full credit to one and that one ranking better, or multiple ones. I think it's more complicated than that, and they go into detail here about how to identify it and how to fix it, and so on and so forth. So there's an optional upsell, everything silos. I know this is an upsell, and you don't. I wouldn't say like if you don't get this, your like life is over, or that you'll never have another opportunity to get it. But I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. This might be my favorite module, just because I've been using silos since 2009, and there were some things that I thought I got it, but they have a deeper understanding. And again, this goes back to actually testing and trying things out that they have done, and then sharing with you what works. And so they have multiple types of silo. I've kind of bolded out blocked out the actual names of the silos. So this is one type of silo. There's another type of silo, and then this is the bomber silo. This is so cool. I was really happy to see that, and I'm still happy to see the level of awesomeness that this silo is just so cool. And the name for it is cool. I don't want to give the name just in case that enables people to try to find it, without buying the course, but it's really cool and fun. So I'm happy with these two videos are probably worth the whole course of everything up here. These two videos are probably worth that, in my opinion. Okay, so some bonuses. They do have a slightly different version of this product that includes a couple additional things. It's substantially more expensive. That has a paid members group, and they did say that they would give people access to. I'm not sure if it's just through this promotion that I'm running for this right now, and maybe if I run it again in the future. But it's the RYR level up. They'll give you access to that, so you can get in there, and that's a great place to get support for the paid members. And you can see Michael is in there, and I'm in there. So yeah, that's a nice little bonus that I asked them for, and they really want to do it. So and then there's a bonus when you click through. I'll put a link below on how to buy this. That'll be an affiliate link for me, and when you click through and buy through my link, there's a bonus that you'll get, so long as you do it in the time period that I've given. And it depends on, maybe they'll post this video later, so I don't know exactly what that time period will be. But so I see 5 major kind of like areas where I'm basically bridging what I do with what they do. They do a lot of things differently than I do, and that's totally fine. That doesn't mean that I'm right, they're wrong, or they're right, I'm wrong. All the best people in the world that I know that at SEO do things a little bit differently. They approach things. There's so many different angles to approach things, and when you combine 2 very different angles that are backed by data, it can be extremely powerful. Maps SEO is something that is a huge focus of mine that they do a little bit less of, but I can see their techniques integrating really well with the Maps SEO techniques. And there's a common thread here, which is on-page SEO. There's a lot. Not nearly enough focus on on-page SEO in general, and then also from a Maps SEO standpoint. So I'm going to talk about how I integrate, how I see their concepts and ideas and techniques integrating with my Maps SEO techniques. This definitely, there's some more work on here with silos, and I think I'm going to do a specific I'm gonna have a specific section for that for people who get the silos bonus. Here's another thing I need to be better about: more attention to content, more attention to meta description as well. I'll talk about a little bit more about that, kind of like the history of the meta description in this video and my thoughts on that going forward. But just in general, more attention to on page is probably the biggest lesson from there. And then I give each one of these will be like a lesson, at least one lesson, and I'll go into quite a bit more detail. Unsticking. I don't have a lot to say about this right here, but I'll talk about my experiences with stuck sites, because I have had stuck sites, and going back and looking at what has happened there and why that's bad. And it's just common. It's just really common, and I think a lot of people in the industry just kind of ignore it when that doesn't make the problem go away. If you know my map stuff, if you know what POI stands for, it's like point of interest, which is a little bit of a way to do maps SEO. It's much deeper than that, but I think that using their silo techniques on the site for specific keywords, and also for kind of like increasing the maps SEO relevancy is very powerful. And I haven't fully tested that, but there's every indication that I have right now is that it's very powerful. And this is special for people who purchase the upsell. And definitely I guess I gave away, since you're still here, I gave away the name. It doesn't really give it away that much, but they call it a Danny silo. Definitely immediately start running some of their Danny silos. That's one of the silos. I don't think you could find it out there publicly. Hopefully don't. Even if somebody like posts a picture of it, it doesn't tell you what it is. You have to watch their training and to understand kind of the what and the why of really what's going on, and get their feedback. And I bet that even that, getting their support on, you built the silo and this is what happened, is going to be super valuable as well. Keyword cannibalization. I'm still not sure I completely understand. I mentioned this before, but I think this is something that's unique, that is definitely a problem for a lot of websites. And then a max power video. This is sort of like putting it all together. Like the detailed on page plus maps SEO plus my off page, everything, all the techniques, how I see them all fitting together. And I might run through a little bit of unsticking process kind of at a high level. Check for keyword cannibalization. This is more like, actually, like if you were to put all the techniques together, like what would you be doing? You check for keyword cannibalization for a website, start a keyword silo, if maps, and start maybe a POI silo and more keyword silos, and some other things. And I'm just going to put ... because there's kind of a little bit deeper there. And then mix in kind of guest post services to silos, or other, and other link building. And they talk about like where to send the links, like specifically which page to send it to. And that's pretty valuable in and of itself. So thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Let Marie or Moon know. You can maybe friend them on Facebook. Try to join they have a free Facebook group. Join their free Facebook group, and you can send them a message there. And they're typically very responsive. Well, thanks for watching, and go ahead and click the link below to check it out. And have a great day. Bye.